you're making people uncomfortable. And yes, your presence has something to do with it, but I don't want to put emphasis there, because a lot of people will say, your presence is shaking up rooms. People are petrified by your presence, this new appearance of you. I'm going to tell you what really has people wavering and operating in the spirit of fear, especially when it comes to you and your name. What people are really in fear of is who you have become, the changes that you have been making. People are afraid of this new you because they're accustomed to who you used to be, before you were delivered, before God intervened in your transformation. They're used to you still being who you were before you chose the call that God gave to you. See, and before, you may have not been, operating in the spirit of darkness, or you may have been unknowingly walking in the spirit of darkness. But for many of us, a lot of us who kind of knew something was different about us, we've kind of been on that borderline, right? Where we haven't been all the way upright, but we haven't been all the way in darkness or disobedient either. We were kind of in that lukewarm state of being. But God tells us that He'd rather us be hot or cold, because you can't serve two masters, right? You have to pick one or the other. And so when you come around, or when people hear your name, it makes them uncomfortable because they don't really know who you are now. You've lost this sense of identity that they've created for you. You are now walking as a generational curse breaker, and you're standing exactly on what that purpose is, what that call is for you. And be understanding that everybody's not going to understand exactly what this is, because some people like where they are. They're comfortable operating in the same satanic things that have kept their family from fully flourishing and being as prosperous as God would have them be. It's not your call to change people. It's your call to be the change. And so people are not going to understand who the new you is. And that's fine. The new you is not meant to be understood or received by everyone. Jesus was not received by his hometown, members of his hometown. It takes you getting away to really find other people who are like-minded, people who think and do like you, people who are on this spiritual journey that you are now on. You can only really align yourself with other people who are thinking as upright as you are. But it's not your duty to try to make other people accept you. And family members are going to get upset because, when God calls you to move away from people, He means what He says, and He says what He means, because it can get really dangerous if you don't. I had a dream recently about a house that I grew up in, and how for some reason I was in a hurry to get over to this house, and in the midst of me trying to get there, there was this flood in the road, and some people, drowned in that flood. Some cars didn't make it in that flood, but for some reason I did. And even in the midst of my journey trying to get to the house, I looked back and I saw people just kind of standing there and looking like, dang, that's my car. It's the only car that I had. It's gone now. But for some reason, I kept going. I had mine. So by the time I get to, the folks' house and I'm getting there, like everyone starts running out. Like all these people start running out, aunties, uncles, parents, like people started running out of the house. And I just kind of sat outside like, dang, it's like that. But that's the truth of the reality. People congregate and meet behind your back. They talk about you behind your back. But then when you show up in person, it's like, they're uncomfortable. Their spirits are riddled, because now it's this new you that they have to adjust to. But people don't want to adjust to who the new you is. People don't want to make that adjustment because your adjustment is going to cause for them to change. And like I said before, some people are comfortable where they are. People have told me, I like my lifestyle. I appreciate the way that I live. I get up, I go to work, I wash my face, I brush my teeth, I call this person, I do this routine, I go. People are comfortable with patterns and routines. And see, that's the thing that makes the generational curse breaker set apart or separate from the others. You don't like routine. You don't like patterns, okay? These are things that make you uncomfortable. Generational curse breakers are also people who are unpredictable. You can't be predicted. Nobody knows how you're going to move because you're always evolving. You're ever changing. The ability to transform, the ability to renew yourself is a blessing. The ability to self-heal, that is such a blessing. Because everybody doesn't have the space to do that. See, a lot of people want you to compromise when you come around them. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's an energy exchange that goes on here. See, people will feel your healing element. They will feel the fact that you defeated single-mindedness. You defeated betrayal. You defeated homelessness. They feed off of those nice restorative energies. Because this is what builds them up and gives them hope. But they don't go out and use that energy to ignite good, as global game changers would say. They use this energy to further advance themselves, okay? And a lot of that just leads to self-destruction. And again, that's another thing that sets you apart. You are just a naturally, good-spirited person. You're not trying to exchange energy with people. When people tell you something that's going on with them, you encourage them to pray. You listen to them. You give them, some creative solutions and some alternative ways that they can look forward to, helping the situations that they're in. But people that you're seeking counsel from, you can't go to people and get counsel from just regular old people because they're going to give you some ungodly counsel. And they're going to cause you to delay or distract progress where God is trying to, heal you from, to take you on. The wisdom that they're going to give you are traps that they're going to set. And a lot of it is unknowingly, traps that they're setting. But some people are spiteful and some people don't want you to get ahead of them. Don't get me wrong. Some people, like I'm sure you've heard before, I want to see you do good, but I don't want to see you doing better than me. It really makes people feel some type of way. When you've slept on a couch all your life, you've been homeless, you've dealt with starvation, you haven't been brought up by both of your parents in a civilized or, good family. You know what I'm saying? Where there wasn't a man in the household or there wasn't a mother there. Like people feel like they had a step ahead of you, right? Because they had and you had not. But God says that he is not to be mocked. Do not be deceived. The last shall be first and the first shall be last. You are the moment that everyone has been waiting for. See, someone asked for a miracle and God sent them you. But what did they do with that miracle that they had? The miracle being you, that is. They turned their back on you. They betrayed you. They lied, gossiped, and slandered your name. They ran a smear campaign behind your back. They betrayed you. They divorced you. These are the things that the enemy will do. Because at the end of the day, the mission was always to steal, kill, and destroy. The mission was to break you. And so now when you come around the same people that tried to set you up and watch you fall, it makes them feel some type of way because they didn't complete their mission. Their assignment is incomplete. And not only is their assignment incomplete, you are aware. Thank you, Holy Spirit. You are aware of their assignment. See, you were sent into these people's lives to be a blessing. But God allowed these people to come into your life to see if they would change. And a lot of them aborted the mission. They aborted the mission. And they aborted the mission because they could not fulfill that assignment. And so they chose to enact on the assignment that, they thought the world would give them glory for. And that was, again, to destroy you. So I just wanted to get on here to really encourage, someone out there who is battling, especially as the black sheep, as the generational curse breaker in your family. Not to try to occupy space that you no longer dwell in. God has done a new thing with you, and He wants to do more with you. This new year in your life it ain't even going to touch the other years of the life that you've lived. You are going to be divinely blessed, and God is going to continue to uplift you in the presence of your enemies. People who are watching from a different profile, people who are, listening through the grapevine. People are going to know about your success, and it's going to make them sick to their stomachs. So let your presence continue to glow, and you keep being great, because that is how God designed you to be. Period.